The night she pulled away from my kiss, I smelled the other woman on her clothes. That tiny wrinkle in our life turned into a fault line, and by the time she knew it hit her, years of work were gone. This is how I found out, how I chose to act, and why I don't regret it. If you love a story where slow burn betrayal meets clever justice, subscribe and hit like, and stay until the end. Tell me in the comments, would you have done the same? It wasn't sudden. Relationships rarely tear themselves apart overnight. It's the small, almost invisible things that add up. The lukewarm kisses, the excuses, the little evasions that feel like paper cuts over time. For 4 years, Sylvia and I had grown together. We built routines, rituals, playlists that only the two of us knew, a vocabulary of private jokes. I pictured a life where one day I'd ask her to marry me and the world would rearrange itself into something softer. And then a week of moodiness arrived, like a winter chimney smoke that you can't quite track to its source. She was distant, drained. My usual ways of coaxing her back, the stupid jokes, the coffee on the nightstand, the sleepy forehead kisses didn't work. She'd sit across from me and say, "I'm fine," the sentence like polished metal. When I tried to kiss her and she slid away to sleep on the couch, something in me tightened. First comes curiosity, then anxiety. I'm not proud of it, but when the person you love goes quiet and won't tell you why, your brain starts making lists. Bad news? A mistake? A debt? My list was endless. The tiny first clues were laughable on their own, a strange perfume that wasn't hers, the way she jumped to the shower like someone who'd been out in the rain, the load of clothes she washed at midnight, the very clothes she'd worn that afternoon. All of it fit a picture I didn't want but couldn't unsee. That picture became proof when she left her phone on the coffee table while she chatted with a neighbor in the yard. I waited, palms sweating, chest hollow, feeling like a thief, but thinking I was owed the truth. I picked it up, scrolled. Messages. Late texts with quick, clipped affection. Photos that said she had been somewhere I hadn't been. The rational part of me wanted to clench up and walk away, to yell, to break something. The quieter part, the part that had loved her and still wanted to understand why, wanted to speak. I didn't confront her then. I didn't need to. The evidence did something more corrosive than an argument. It planted cold clarity. She wasn't just unhappy. She had cheated. And the why was a knife twist I hadn't expected. She admitted later, between feigned tears and explanations about pressure at work, that she had been jealous of my career. She said it like a strange truth, as if confessing to a minor infidelity instead of the betrayal it was. Jealous of me, my raises, my recognition, the odd emails of praise that made me feel like I was finally walking up a flight of steps. I want to be honest about what I felt. It wasn't only anger, it was humiliation. The glassy, stupid ache that comes when someone you trusted plays the same game you'd never imagined they could play. I felt small. I felt foolish for trying to patch over months with a hug. I remember my hands shaking as I cleaned the coffee table that night, as if I could scrub the truth away. And then something in me tightened. Not violence, not a shout, but cold, pragmatic decision. Revenge is a funny word. It paints the avenger as cruel and blind, but sometimes it's a form of punctuation, a way to close a chapter so you can start another. I told myself from the start I wouldn't be petty. I wouldn't smear her on every corner. I wanted something that fit the betrayal. Hers was a betrayal born from envy of my work life, the thing that she had once loved. So I decided to attack the one place where she had invested everything. Her career. Sylvia had built her reputation slowly, painstakingly. She started her business from nothing, poured nights into proposals, cultivated clients, nurtured a brand. People trusted her. She was proud of it. That's what made the decision so sharp. I didn't want to ruin her life because I wanted to watch her suffer. I wanted the scales to balance. I wanted the consequence to be proportional to the breach of trust she had committed. I collected what I had. Screenshots, Time-stamped messages, photos, little threads of proof that when woven together, told a story. But I didn't post them for the world to see. I didn't make a dramatic, humiliating video that would satisfy gossip. I focused inward. I thought about who had been wronged by her decisions beyond me. Who had trusted her in ways she had betrayed? Clients who had hired her for honesty, collaborators who had relied on her integrity. That's where I directed the evidence, not to ruin her personally, but to make sure professionals who depended on her work could make informed choices. I sent the information, not in a vengeful flood, but in a careful, factual package to the people who needed to know. I told the truth in sober terms. I explained what I knew and why it mattered professionally. No embellishment, no melodrama, just facts and the evidence to back them up. I sat back and let consequence do the rest. And the consequence was quieter and more devastating than any shout. Trust is a fragile ledger in the business world. A few phone calls, a verification request, a client who checked something and found inconsistency, like a loose thread in wool, can unpick years of careful knitting. Her biggest client put projects on hold pending an internal audit. A partner stepped back from a joint proposal. One by one, opportunities dried up or froze. It wasn't instant ruin. It was an erosion, slow and inevitable. The work that had taken years to build crumbled because the foundation, trust, had become suspect. When she realized what I had done, she came at me furious and stunned in one breath. "How could you?" she screamed, the kind of scream that bent the air. "You're destroying everything." She was right, in a way. I had. And when she said bitterly that she could have fixed things, that I'd been hasty, I only felt a small, strange relief. It's easier to stand in the rubble when you know you didn't stand alone beneath it. You know the damage was not only your hand. Do I regret it? I'll be honest. Regret visits me sometimes like a patient, polite guest. There are nights when I miss the easy small talk, the folded laundry, her laugh at the stupidest jokes. But regret sits beside a sturdier thing, the knowledge that some actions deserve consequence. She cheated out of jealousy, and that jealousy had infected her judgment at work too. It wasn't a simple romantic betrayal. It bled into the professional world, where promises are currency. I'd been betrayed in the deepest way. My trust had been used as a stepping stone. People will ask, as some of you are already in your heads, was it moral? Was it legal? Could you have handled it differently? Maybe I could have swallowed the anger and walked away quietly. Maybe I could have forgiven and tried to rebuild, but forgiveness requires contrition and honesty, things she refused to offer in full. She minimized, blamed stress, folded into excuses. When someone betrays you and then refuses to own it, they take away your choice to heal with them. The aftermath was messy. Friends took sides, mutual acquaintances whispered. Her business, that monument of late nights and sacrifices, took a hit that honestly might never fully recover. I did not broadcast what I knew to the public. I did not drag her through online shame. I made a calculated choice to remove the scaffolding of trust she depended on in the places where trust mattered most. In the cold ledger of consequence, what I did matched what she had done. The most surprising thing after the dust settled was how light I felt. Not triumphant in some gloating way, but empty in the sense that a weight had been lifted. The decision forced closure. When relationships end badly, they linger like a bad song stuck on repeat. This action, however harsh, gave the song a final chord. It allowed me to walk out the door without turning back every 5 steps. If there's a lesson in all of this, it's not that revenge is the best cure, it's that truth matters. Both emotional truth and the facts that hold up when people say they're one person but act like another. Jealousy can rot a relationship from the inside out. Cheating is never an acceptable solution, and when trust breaks, you owe it to yourself to decide what kind of closure you will accept. I don't tell this story to encourage anyone to destroy another person. I tell it because sometimes the only way to stop someone from causing further harm is to make sure their lies don't keep infecting other parts of life. I tell it because I want you to feel the small, ordinary signs I ignored so you don't have to learn the hard way. And I tell it because the taste of consequences can be bitter and sometimes necessary.